What up guys, Ace here, with a video going over the top 12 things I would like to see in Albion in 2024. I'm only going to talk about rather easy quality of life features SBI could implement. I won't mention things such as a new weapon line or an EU server. The improvements aren't ranked in any particular order, but without further ado, let's get into the video. The first thing I would like to see SBI add is a tier number of the blob inside the blob itself, something like this. Adding this should be relatively easy, and it would help people realize faster how many opponents they are facing. A bigger change I would like to see is for SBI to fix their skill descriptions. For weird and confusing descriptions, we have things like a negative energy cost reduction on Moisek and Aegis. There is no need for this double negative here. Just call the stat energy cost increase and remove the negative number. There's also things like Camel and Ease that does their admittedly low damage twice on the target hit, to an ability like Arcane Mimic, leaving it up to the user to figure out what W you can actually copy, although it for whatever reason tells you only what you can get from mimicking an Arcane. Last but not least, some description are just missing certain elements, such as Halberd E applying the most stacks to the person with the most stacks as well, Nature Breeze adding one rejuvenating stack on the person you cast the breeze on, to Purges, where every purge that can't purge nature stacks having it mentioned in their description. Besides Life Curse, it clearly says all buffs, however it doesn't purge nature stacks from the enemies. Having ability descriptions be as precise as possible is very important, and changes like these would go a long way into letting newer players get into theory crafting builds. Not having to test to make sure if every interaction in the game works like how it's written would save me a lot of time personally, looking at you AoE escalation. Speaking of AoE escalation, I would love for there to be some kind of a tab that would talk about things like AoE escalation, resilience, and diminishing returns. The only place that I know of that mentions resilience in-game is the melee weapon stat pages. However, with no way of knowing what it does besides googling it, this line of text doesn't say anything to the average player. More importantly, diminishing returns. I see a lot of people falling into the mistake of taking too much of one stat on their build, such as cooldown reduction or cast speed. Stacking this modifier simply isn't worth it in most cases, and my hope is that SBI would show the diminishing returns on these stats while hovering over them in the stat page. I could of course test all of these myself and release my finding in a video, however that would take a lot of work. Last is AoE escalation. I have made 2 videos on this topic so far and tested every single ability in the game to see if they work or not. Shortly after this video, SBI fixed a bunch of weapons, and thus making the spreadsheet out of date and unusable. I would love to update this spreadsheet, but I need like 3 people to help me do it. If you have 3 hours of time to kill and would like to help me out, for a small reward, feel free to contact me on a Discord via the community Discord, which is linked in the description below, and hopefully I'll have an update video for that soon. Next up, I would love to see a quick depo function from and into chests, with a locking feature such as Terraria has. You can lock certain items in your inventory, such as swap food and potions, siphoned energy and tools, and these would not get depoed, while the rest would, saving hours of time in the long run of shift-clicking items into chests. A quick sell -1 button on the market would be amazing. The recent changes to the market have been pretty good. However, almost nobody quick sells all of their loot to buy others. By far the most common way of selling items is to sell order them at -1 silver of the current lowest price. As someone who has sold far over 4 billion silver worth of loot, having this button would have saved me countless hours of time. Changes in reputation should not show during a fight. This mechanic is very dangerous, and I recently almost died to it. Just watch this clip.
Oh, left door, left door. I got 2 Omega E.
Lit it.
I need help.
Oh shit. I got you.
They lost a lot of DPS. They have like no.
Thank you SBI that I can't see my fucking health bar, dude! A movable player UI would be huge, especially for healers. The buff and debuff bar are very important, and being able to move them closer to where I'm actually looking instead of all the way in the corner would be of a massive help. Speaking of the buff and debuff bar, please allow us to customize them. I don't need to know that I'm Marklock locked mid-fight, or the fact that I have a 90-day fame boost running. Being able to have certain buffs and debuffs show up on top of the list would be of massive help while fighting. Combine this with a movable UI, managing these buffs and debuffs would become a lot easier. A minor inconvenience that bothers me a lot personally is depositing Siphoned energy. If I have 10 on me for self-use, and I loot 6 from a dead enemy, I should be able to split the stack in my inventory and put the stack of 6 into the guild bank. However, trying this will result in all of the Siphoned energy being deposited. Stop using cape IP in the calculation for average IP. The average IP stat is completely pointless currently, as the cape will always bring it down massively. Knowing the average IP of your enemy's weapon and armor would be pretty useful. However, it's currently unusable, as it can be up to 400 points higher than what you actually see when you inspect them. Add customizability for ability effects. A while ago, a bunch of staffs got their ability effects changed, some of them good and some of them awful. As a 4-year-plus nature healer myself, I very much dislike the bright neon green effects on my Qs. They make a fight more cluttered than it has to be, and the increased visibility does nothing for me personally. Allowing players to turn these effects back into the old ones would give no in-game benefit for anyone, while making their game look the way they prefer. Same goes for the old trash icon, it was glorious. Lastly, bring back Frost Q2. This is a bit of a butthurt one, however, if gloves and shapeshifters can have 4 Qs, why can't Frost? That concludes this video on the top 12 things I would like to see SBI add in 2024. If you disagree with any of my points, feel free to tell me why in the comments below. If you have any other changes you would like to see, feel free to leave them in the comments as well, and I will tell you why you're wrong. Thanks for watching.